Monsterman.
Ah! Oh, what shirt are you wearing?
It's
Is
my
that the Connecticut Ghost Hunters?
Connecticut Paranormal
Yeah.
that I got at the MUFON
That we
meeting.
got. We went to see UFOs and came home with a ghost.
That was the guy that didn't want to get interviewed by us.
Do you blame him?
Bastard.
I don't blame him. Well, then, yeah, because we would put him in the line between two factions, the UFO community and the ghost community. It's like jets and sharks.
Yeah. I couldn't resist having a Connecticut paranormal investigator. I figured, you wear it to the supermarket. A lot of people are going to, like, see it and avoid you. And then there's going to be somebody that stops you. And then
Right.
I just pretend like I'm a ghost hunter.
Did I ever tell you I was up in Maine and I was at this little fair and I was wearing a Taps t-shirt. I had a hat on and my beard. I had my beard and it was dark at the time. And this girl comes up to me and she goes, "Are you Steve from Ghost Hunters?" And I was like, "What?" She thought for sure. Even when I told her I wasn't, she was like, "No, no." I was like, "No, I'm really not Steve from Ghost Hunters." But I just like to walk
Then
around
you
and look
pretended
like
like you were afraid of a spider and
oh. She did give me like some like haunted theater and nearby, I think in Augusta, Maine or something that I should look into. I was like, all right, thanks. I'll let the guys in Taps know.
I put on our Facebook page recently like the most haunted location in every state.
Mm-hmm.
And the Easton Cemetery was the Connecticut one. So I was like, oh good, we've crossed one off.
Yay!
I didn't really spend too much time. I was like, we should probably look at I don't even know what the New York one is.
My house.
Yeah.
The Shea abode.
Anywho, we have a special episode this
Mm.
week. Speedy delivery.
Hello, Mr. McFeely.
Mr. McFeely.
What a
from
name.
Mr. Rogers. Today we're going to go to the Monster Mailbag and borrow a term from David Letterman. We're going to answer viewer mail.
No, but you know what? We've never done this before.
No, and when you shot up the flare to ask people for questions, and it was almost like the end of Miracle on 34th Street with piles and piles of letters just coming in.
I was getting really nervous. I'm like, oh, this might have to be 2 or 3 shows. I'm like, please, I hope it stops. Like I stopped promoting it. I'm like, all right, it's out there. But we got a bunch of questions, and there's some really good questions in here.
Awesome.
And some funny ones. If you want, I'll start with the first one because it goes in line with what we were just talking about with haunted locations.
Awesome. Yeah, well, here's the thing. You have the list.
I do.
I saw a couple of them, but I don't know most of these questions, so.
It'll also be fun for you then. This is from Nina Darkangela, the Dark
sweet.
Mistress.
The Dark Mistress. I love her.
From Pen of the Damned, a great collective of horror writers. She says, okay, with travel expenses and time constraints not a concern, where would you like to visit, investigate on a 1-week isolated lockdown? Now, she says unlimited beer and food included, of course. And please don't say the Stanley Hotel. I really like Monster Man and would like to continue following it. And it won't be. I told her, I said, I guarantee you, Jack and I will have 2 totally different answers, so we'll give you 2 different places to go to.
That's a good question. The first place that jumped to my head, and it's probably not my top choice, but it was the first thing that popped in my head, is the lighthouse from Ghost Hunters, where they saw the thing look over the...
Oh, St. Augustine Lighthouse.
I don't know if that's worth a week, but that's when we met the Ghost Hunters, we talked about that place.
Yep.
And they were like, oh, we were there for... Remember I said, how come you guys don't stay longer than a day? And they go, no, we do. We just make it look like we're there for...
Yep.
That's what jumped out in my head. I'd have to... When you answer, I'll think of other places. Because that would be like a good long weekend.
I have one. I don't even know if we'd last a week. And I might say it wrong. Poveglia Island or Poveglia Island. It's in... It's off of Venice in Italy.
Oh, I've seen that on the list of most haunted places.
Let me tell you. I mean, it's a place that used to have people with plague and mental patients and all kinds of stuff. That place, just the look alone, creeps me out. And there's a writer I know, J.H. Moncrief, who was just out there. And she goes to all these haunted locations all over the world. She goes, this is the one place that literally freaked her out. Just bad vibe the moment she got on that island. And
And I wonder if you put us two on that island with a bunch of beer.
with a bunch of beer, we might be able to like power through it.
When we first started doing this, we talked about we'd love if somebody we knew lived in a haunted house or knew a place that would let us spend the night.
Right.
And we would just set up cameras. And we thought that if nothing supernatural happened, just the conversation between us two would be great. And if one of us dozed off, the other one screwing with the other would just be
exactly
worth it. Or just us like drunk at 4 a.m.
Ground coasty
would be great. So actually, I would throw that out there. If anybody in the tri-state area has a place we can come, we'd give it a shot for a live. Well, here's the thing, though.
we'll clean up after ourselves.
Something spooky actually happens. The two of us are gonna be like, "Peace out," and like the jack shape through the
This is a
wall.
great idea. Grab the case of PBR. We're out of here.
Yeah. Oh crap! We left the beer in the house.
All right. Ready for another?
Yep.
All right. This is from Ann Haithcock. Dude, how'd you get started writing?
That's for you.
Well, thank you, Anne. You know what? Literally, it was boredom working at the phone company. We just had a soul-sucking job, and I was looking over, and my friend was writing a book, and I was like, "What the hell? You're writing a book?" He goes, "Yeah." And I had dabbled in writing, growing up, but once I hit college, most I wrote was on the board of Free Wings, Free Keg. So that's where I got the bug.
Read than your books, because then
nice.
Afterwards, Free Wings would be coming to me.
You know what? I wish I got wings every time I wrote, or beer, free beer. So yeah, that's where I got started. I got started in the '90s at the phone company, and I'm a horror fan, and my friend who was writing a book is a horror sci-fi fan, and we kind of fed off each other for years. So that's where I got started.
I would say quickly that I don't write as much as I should, but you were good at kicking my ass as far as getting me to blog and write more.
You write really well. I mean,
I write good.
You can put words together grammatically.
And we should plug Dark Dossier magazine at this point.
Yes. When is the next issue coming out?
I think one just came out. Just go to the website, because whenever you watch this, people out there, one will have just come out.
All right.
I just thought of something. Going back to the first question.
Oh, yeah. Where do you want to go?
A place I would like to go, I would like to go back to the Easton Cemetery at night. But you're not allowed to be there after dark. But I would actually love to camp out in that place, at least for like a night or two, and see, because I'm dying to know about that white lady. So that would be a very fun.
And camping out wouldn't be scary because there's roads right around it that you you never feel isolated.
I think number one, we could get a lot of good footage out of it. It'll be an interesting show. I'd love to bring somebody like Michelle, the psychic, with us or something.
Yeah.
And just see what we could do. So, but I'd love to, we should see if the town of Easton would let us do that or something. And then they'll tell us no, and we'll move on.
Exactly. Okay, here we go. Here's one from Sharon Husky, who I don't know if she's related to Butch Husky, who used to be on the Mets in the 90s.
Butch Husky. He was a Red Sox shortly.
He was?
Yeah, for a minute.
I remember he hit the most home runs in spring training one year for the Mets.
Husky is one of the ways that this guy might build.
A husky.
I'm husky.
Husky boy.
Barrel-chested.
I was wondering if you truly believe in ghosts, or is it just a good writing topic for you? Or, in our case, a topic for us to talk about.
That's a freaking great question.
I absolutely believe in ghosts. I don't just believe in them. I live with one.
So, this is maybe a perfect question, because I don't know what I think about ghosts. I am interested. I'm fascinated by them. But I've never seen one. But I have people like you who are my best friends, and other people in my life who swear they've seen something. I've had people who were, who I've never met before, tell the same story,
right.
Without having time to go check with each other. So I feel like there's too much going on out there for something not to be going on. At the same time, I'm skeptical of everything that I hear, and part of me believes you, and part of me actually thinks you're just insane.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So
you just called my wife insane now. That's
well,
it.
she married you. That would be the only thing I hold her accountable for. But I don't know. I'm fascinated by it. But like I said, if you and me were camping, if I was at your house, when we're watching movies, I'm always looking around. And if I actually saw something, like I said, I would probably through the window, and
I wish you would. That's always my dream. That when you're here one day, that he just kind of walks past, and you'll be like, "Oh, okay."
This is the thing. If that
I'm a believer.
Happens, if I ever see that, it's game changer because that's all I'm ever going to talk about to people. Is oh my god, I saw a ghost. There's ghosts. Ghosts exist. I saw a ghost. This changes my. What about God? What about the afterlife? What is it? A million questions. Like it's going to be the game changer for me if I ever.
See, my thing is, I believe in these things happening. I just don't know if they're ghosts is the right classification. There we go.
EBs.
EBs, exactly. Here's one from Chris Licardi. Now, realize when I put out the call for questions, I said, ask anything. You can ask about collecting Smurfs and stuff. So he says, about your Smurf.
Ask anything.
Well, about your Smurf collection, which I did have at one time when I was really young. Have you removed the heads from said Smurfs, as we all do, of course? I will tell you that I burned all of mine in barbecues. So when my dad was done with the barbecue and you just had like the white hot coals, I would put the Smurfs in there along with Star Wars figures and watch them melt. And breathe in that plastic burning fume, which can only be good for you.
You get really smurfed up. Somewhere.
Oh, you didn't
pile of crap I think I have a stuffed Smurf doll from something. Like my parents, like there was a bag of crap from their house that I took. There's like an ET stuffed doll. I don't know. Half of the stuff I don't remember ever having. It could be my sister's or somebody. But somewhere, I should bring it to your house and we should burn it.
I'm telling you, what's the greatest Smurf thing we ever saw? The human Smurf centipede.
Yes.
At Schiller Theater. That was awesome.
I didn't have a ton of Smurfs.
I probably had about 10 of them. I don't know why. He also follows up with, also, what is Monster Man's favorite monster movie? And I think this one's easy now because we discussed this recently on another episode.
Classify monster movie for me.
A movie with a monster.
So it's not like Godzilla. It could be.
Yeah. What's our favorite?
The Thing.
There you go. Mine was The Thing or Alien. After watching both recently, I just have a thing for The Thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great monster movies.
Oh, so many.
American Werewolf in London is also.
All right, this one is from M.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't M sing pop music?
Talk about
pop music. A proper discussion is why no horror in the porn industry. Now, he probably never saw Intercourse with the Vampire.
The Witches of Breastwick on Cinemax.
Yeah, there we go. Aside from what may already be there, I think a story is due about a satanic porn star who calls himself the Crank, starts tearing up vagina on the sets of L.A. with his devilishly barbed appendage. His name is Abundant Pendulous Manskin, and only Jenna Jameson can save us all.
I think Steve Barnard is watching that movie tonight.
Exactly. It was made in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Last year.
This guy should totally follow Steve Barnard on Twitter.
Dude, yeah, absolutely.
You're totally right. There's a million Japanese horror porn movies.
Yeah. And Steve would know them.
Yeah.
But I love the name Abundant Pendulous Manskin.
I feel like you could sneak that into your next novel.
I'm going to make bookmarks made out of manskin. Let's see. Angela Crawford writes, I love your monster books. Down here in Texas, we have the Chupacabra, which is funny because it actually is something from Puerto Rico. I don't know how I guess it took a cruise, jumped off in New Orleans, made its way over.
And its sibling, the Chupacabra. I stole that from Comedy Bang Bang.
All right. Any plans on tackling a chupacabra book? Yes.
Yeah, who are you kidding? You're gonna mind that.
Eventually, I will. Right now, there's a great chupacabra book by Reagan Butcher. You should check out. Oh my God, is it Fury of the Chupacabras? I can't believe I'm drawing a blank right now. It's Fury of the Chupacabras. So when I read that book, and he and I have become pretty friendly over the last couple of years, I was like, dude, Chupacabras are all yours for now.
You have written the definitive Chupacabra.
It's a fun book, and it's just the beginning of a series of Chupacabra hunter books. So when the furor dies down, I'll jump into Chupacabras. Here's one from Edward. Zombies are great, but what next big thing for horror? Witches? He says, today is my birthday. Can anything be more horrible than real life? And thank you guys for the podcast.
First of all, happy birthday to you.
Exactly. Jack, do a little Marilyn Monroe for him.
Happy birthday to you.
Dude, when you think about birthdays, because we're getting up there, just be glad you're having one. You know what? It says, I'm still alive. Because when you don't have them anymore,
True.
You're not here.
My suggestion is, for celebrating your birthday, is separate your friends so you get many celebrations.
There you go.
Don't let them all take you out at once.
Yeah, that's cheap. Cheap. So, what do you think? What's the next big thing for horror?
We said this recently in one of our shows. We talked about it, and we said witches could be the next thing. And lo and behold, The Witch came out.
Yep. But are there any other witch things coming?
Brian Moreland. I think it was when we were talking to Brian.
Yeah, that was like a year ago. Yeah. You know what I want to see? Monsters. Straight up monsters.
Possession has been a lot of found footage, and there's this new show, Outcast,
right?
Which is a Robert Kirkman thing. Yeah, well done, monsters.
Yes, exactly. Or just say, a humanoids from the deep. I'm not asking for much.
I think witches, though, because I hear that they're going to remake The Craft. There's a lot you can do. We've seen some witch. I feel like there's a lot to be mined there. I think vampires are never going to go away, and they're due for somebody to come back with a kick-ass vampire movie. You know,
right.
We've had a lot of tame crap.
We need a near dark.
We need a near dark, and we need a Fright Night. We need some of that classic stuff. All right, so they're talking about rebooting the Universal world, and they're going to screw that up. But think about the Hammer Dracula movies. They're all goofy and funny. But if you, with today's technology and stuff, took the base storyline of some of that stuff and made a good movie out of some of those plot lines, you could make a great freaking Dracula movie or series of Dracula movies, all without that black magic stuff and everything that was going on. I'd love to see a good take on vampires, like the old days. But it's hard to say.
I think if you get that, it's going to have to come out from some independent production company, who's not pandering to the masses.
The independents, though, that's where you're going to get the good stuff.
Maybe they'll bring back Charmed.
That's a rumor, too.
See? Okay, here we go. I know there was another. Oh, Pamela Morris. Now, this one's for me. Will there be a sequel continuation to Tortures of the Damned?
I love when you say that.
I got to tell you, this is the question I get the most. I get this at least once every other day since last August.
Well, that's because the ending kicks you in the nuts.
The nards. There literally was no plan for a sequel, but the more people are asking me about it, the more I'm getting an idea of something I want to do. So I think I'm going to. I'm pretty sure at this point I'm going to continue the story. I think I'm going to do it on my own. I'm going to self-publish it. Because now I'm curious. What do I do with these kids? So I'm going to explore that. It might be. I was thinking of doing like a serial on my website. or a novella or something. So I know I'm working on it. Trust me. The idea is it's now firmly in my head.
Cool.
So that'll come. From Parlor. Oh wait, hold on.
My answer is I'm not doing a sequel to Tortures of the Damned.
Yes, you are. I'm going to make you write it. And it'll be just fine.
The Damned Strike Back.
More Tortures of the Damned. From Stephen Gibson. And this one, Jack, you answer this sucker. I was wondering how you guys came up with the idea for your Monster Man show. I really enjoy the show, the reviews of movies, books, and horror-related toys, etc. Thank you, Stephen. And thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen.
Oh, bye.
Monster Man was my idea.
Yes.
And I said to you, because we've told the story before, but every time we talked, it was like we were doing a podcast about horror.
Yeah, we just needed a camera.
And I was doing the Purple Goldfish Project video podcast, which is a marketing thing that I was doing. So I was getting a knack for video podcasting. So when I was as I was doing that, I was like, I love doing this. I know how to do it. But really, I want to talk about. I could see once your book career was starting to take off, I was like, this is a perfect platform to get out to the masses and have horror fans find you find them. And for me, it was going to be a great way to be a creative outlet as well as learn the ins and outs of this whole podcasting world, or whatever you want to call this, YouTubing.
When we started this, who else was doing a video podcast about horror?
Right. And I've learned a lot, like in the real world, when I do marketing and social media, things I've learned here have come into play. So, when we look back at how many 200-something episodes we've done, 100 episodes, what the hell we've done.
Wow, I was like, we've done that 200?
Well, we've done, think about all we've done. We've done all the episodes plus stuff we didn't call episodes. We've done personal appearances and events, and we've writing and things. So Monster Man started as this little show, but now it's like a community.
Yeah.
Like that. So we really started, but it only worked because both of us were like, yeah, let's do it. And it worked. Like it was the two of us, we carry the load together, and we love doing it. And I think it has, as far as for you as being a tool to get out to the masses, it's been
invaluable. And you realize next month is our 5-year anniversary?
Damn.
5 years. So,
but really, it did start with the Purple Goldfish Project that I was doing. Was that I was like, okay, if I'm doing this for this, I got to also do it for my love of horror.
Exactly. And it's been awesome ever since. 5 years, and we want to do another 5, and then we'll sign up a contract for another 5.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, we'll go right in with that Northwest Horror Podcast. Those guys from the Northwest. How do you guys keep the fright alive? Scheduling has been hard for us, and we admire your consistency. And here's a word we don't hear often with our show: quality.
Well, one thing I can tell you right off the bat when I hear that, first of all, I love those guys. They do a great podcast, and part of the reward of doing this is getting to know guys like that and being in that community. So first of all, hats off to those guys, and you should listen to their show. And they're on iTunes, which is the thing that I'd like to get us on eventually.
Yeah. But
we don't get paid for this, and this is a hobby for us. And part of the reason that this keeps going is the love of them. We're not doing it for the money.
Nope.
I spend more money doing this than I never make a dime off of this. So
sweat equity.
One thing that saved us is what we're doing now is Skype.
Yeah.
So I think the two secrets are, number one is we film in batches.
Yep. So
if I go to your place and we'll film a few episodes and then release them. And then we use Skype to fill in. I think Skype helps us two ways. Well, it helps us with schedules and just being able to do it. But also, if we need to be topical and get something out because a certain movie is out, it helps us stay on top of things a little bit better.
And it also helps us bring other people on the show.
Which added a whole new dimension to the thing, too.
Exactly. So we love Skype.
So the three-pronged thing is preloading pre-recording episodes
Yeah.
using Skype, and then guest stars or interviews as a way to help switch things up.
And I think it also helps that we're old men who have a lot of experience in the horror genre, so we have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of crap that we can talk about. I mean, seriously.
Well, like,
Uh,
and it goes back to why have we stuck with it is because we love it.
exactly. All right, here's one from Adam Howe, author Adam Howe, who his book came out recently, Die, Dog, or Eat the Hatchet, which is 3 novellas that are screamingly funny, gory, just they're awesome.
It's a sweet name.
He says, Hunter, did your book Swamp Monster Massacre meet any resistance from the Society of the Preservation of the North American Skunk Ape? Which this organization was dead set against Adam with his book because one of the novellas in that book deals with the skunk ape. Yeah, absolutely. They were on my case from day one. They did not want me to reveal the true nature of the skunk ape down in the Florida Everglades. But I said, no way.
It's
I'm
a
going to publish the
fictional
truth.
It's a fictional creature, right?
No, Jack, it's absolutely real. It's been pictured on Fate magazine. In fact, I have a copy of it somewhere here, signed by Lauren Coleman. So, no. God. If you smelled it, you'd know it was real.
If I smelled it, I dealt it.
Jack just dealt the skunk ape. So yeah, I've had problems with them, and they still sometimes they pick at my house.
You're the best marketing skunk apes have had since him.
But if anyone pickets my house from the preservation of the North American skunk ape, I sick my chupacabra on them, and then they flee.
Those things are vicious.
Jack, here's I know our favorite question of the night, Mr. James Herbert. In your opinion, what is the most cost-effective way to soundproof a car trunk? I'm asking for a friend. Oh my God.
Well, I'll tell you what. One thing you got to remember is reinforce the taillights because you don't want them kicking out the taillight and signaling.
This is true.
So when you're soundproofing, I think you consider that too.
Just save bubble wrap. You know, when you get your boxes from Amazon, just save all the packing bubble wrap and all that styrofoam stuff, and should be good enough.
Yeah, I think foam rubber's good.
And when you put people in your trunk, cut their tongues out before you close the lid.
Well, I think that's the major lesson, is that
Right.
a non-living thing is quieter than a living thing.
Shut up. Be silent. All right. I hope that helped you, James. And
I
remind
have a
me not to go.
hatchback, so I don't know.
I don't want to go cruising with James. Tom, who I think is my brother-in-law, I'm going to assume. When are you guys going to do an episode about the giant monsters? Godzilla, King Kong, or as he wrote, King, Mothra. Which, how many times have we talked about doing that?
A lot. You know what I think we need to do with that one? I think we need a guest star on that one. Because there's so many people out there that know so much more than... Like, we know... I don't know about you, but I have like 430 movie level knowledge of those monsters. But I talked to some friends of mine who are like super deep Godzilla. Like, they talk about the original cut versus the American cut and blah, blah, blah. That I'm like, yeah, I just remember the Gamera was the turtle. So I think that's a good one. I think we need to find the expert guest.
Because we could give a very top line thing about, I mean, like I know they keep making them. They haven't stopped. So I don't watch any of the new ones that are coming out. I didn't like the American versions either. But
before cable was such a big thing and there was so many ways to get it and it was like a treat to see a Godzilla movie on TV.
Right.
I remember just like if one was on, I'd be like, oh, awesome. And just like there was nothing like a bowl of Count Chocula at a Godzilla movie.
There was a movie theater by me, the Kimball Movie Theater. In summer, they would play. I remember going to see Godzilla versus Megalon, and when you went in the lobby, they were giving away Godzilla comic books, and they had all like Godzilla themed like toys and stuff. Some that were giveaways, some that you bought, and then they would show like a Godzilla double feature. Those were some of the greatest days of my childhood, and thank you, Mom, for taking me to those.
When we do our Godzilla show, I have an awesome Godzilla bank where he comes out of the water and
I've got a Godzilla here.
I used him as a pipe in one of our pictures.
That's right. Um, Now this is perfect, man. 'Cause speaking of Godzilla, I think we have our expert here. Norm Hendricks, who is the guy who got me into writing, and we did we ever air the episode that we interviewed him at the Wicked Wolf?
I
I
don't
don't
think
remember.
we interviewed him.
I think we did. I can't remember. I was really drunk that night. He is a Godzilla expert. This guy, he knows everything.
Norm's the man. I'd love him on.
Well, he says, have either of you ever seen George Romero's Night Riders?
Oh my god, I remember that.
I was like, there's no way that Jack can't remember that movie.
I don't know if I actually saw the movie, but I remember the commercial.
I remember renting it from Video Visions back when I would watch anything by George Romero. It's literally like bikers who are knights, and it's awesome.
It reminded me of two different Night Stalker episodes merged into like Swordman Baker and the Knight.
Yeah.
But
bloodier.
shoot, I haven't thought of that in a long time. I don't think I actually saw the movie, or if I did, I saw part of it.
I saw the whole thing. I remember us sitting down and watching it at my friend David's house. It was like that was another one of those movies where, yeah, I could say that I like George Romero because I saw Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead, but I'm a real fan because I've watched Marty and Night Riders. Like, those are the ones that gave us some cachet,
Martin,
as they say.
Right?
Oh, Martin. Did I say Marty?
Yeah. Hey, Marty.
Hey, get over here, Marty.
Mr. Frank, babe.
Let's see. We've got one from... Oh, I'm going to save that. I'll save that one for last.
Nice.
We did Torches of the Damned. Oh, here we go. Where'd it go? Parlor of Horror. They write, as far as your research, was there any definitive answer to what the Montauk Monster could have been, separate from your fictional tale? I live in Long Island and remember the news report on News 12 when it was found. I will tell you two things. When I have spoken to it with Lauren Coleman, the cryptozoologist, who was the person who gave it the name, the Montauk Monster, and was there right after it happened, he said it's a raccoon. It was a raccoon body. I say it's an animal that came from Plum Island, because Plum Island is a laboratory that experiments on animals. So the reason why it looks so strange is God knows what torture they were putting animals through to test whatever vaccine, whatever disease they wanted to possibly put somewhere. Because that was one of their initial goals, was to create these viruses that you could introduce into the livestock of a country and starve them out so you could take them over very easily. So I tend to think it was, God knows what it was.
Is Plum Island still active?
No, they moved everything to somewhere in the Midwest, supposedly. There's a company that's trying to like repurpose Plum Island into making like condos on it, and the EPA was like, this place is toxic as hell. You cannot put human beings out here. So in our lifetimes, we're never going to see anything.
Plum
here.
Island Animal Disease Research Center.
Yeah. Run by a Nazi!
That was the first time I ever heard of Plum Island, was Silence of the Lambs.
That's right.
Except that on the North Shore of Massachusetts, there's another Plum Island that's the most beautiful place, and I love it. So I'm like, he's not talking about Plum Island. And it turns out there's two.
It's part of my favorite phrase. I'm wearing tidy whities and I'm smuggling plums.
Nice.
So here's the last one for today. This is from The Douche, Jason Brandt. And you'll know why I saved this one for last. Will both of you sing the Monster Men theme song during this episode? You schmuck. Should we do the original?
100 beers, 100 guests, drinking with the douche.
Drinking water with Jason. Should we do it?
One of us could sing a verse, and then the other could sing the chorus.
You want me to? I'll start Monster Men.
Go ahead.
Monster Men, Monster Men.
Jack and Hunter again.
Monster men,
All right.
zombies, werewolves.
Zombies, Wolfman, the Undead.
I'm an undead douche.
I wrote that song
You are a songstress.
with Steve. Steve wrote it. I helped.
And I helped. So, dude, that is it. We got through all the questions that we
a
got
good
up to
mailbag.
this afternoon. That's a big ass ball
Thank
bag.
you, everybody who sent them in. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that was cool. And you know what? Here's the deal. Send us questions anytime, because you know what we can do at the end of every episode, if we have some questions, reach into the mailbag and answer some questions. So you all know how to find us, everybody. So you want to ask a question that you didn't get a chance to answer here?
Part of the reason we have a theme song is so we can show all of the addresses of our Facebook and YouTube and Twitter so that you people can like it and share it and things like that. So
Exactly. Stretches it.
contact us.
Yes, please do. So thank you all. Really, thank you for the questions. Those are some good questions.
Yeah, good stuff.
And now we know we have to do a Godzilla episode, and I got to get Norm to see if he wants to do it.
And we got to
with
find
us.
a haunted place to visit.
And we need a haunt.
That's what I want. If people have suggestions for haunted places that we can go without getting arrested, that'd be great.
And without spending a fortune to travel there.
Yeah, or being possessed by a demon.
I don't mind that.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Then thanks for the mail, and we'll see you next time on
Monster Men.